Say it again. The whole time? No. Why would I do that? Bitch.
Alright guys, it's that time of the week. We're going to get started here in just a minute. We do like to kind of like, if you absolutely have to, it's an emergency, if you're more than welcome to walk through here, but since you are coming, we prefer you don't walk through here, but if it happens, it happens. We're going to get started, so remember how we do it is we introduce and go, welcome guys, it's that time of the week again, it's Breaking Brews episode 9. I'm your host, Mikey 2. Nick will introduce himself, and after Nick introduces himself, we just get one big round of applause. You guys all go back to doing whatever you're doing. Got it? Pool table? Got it? Hayden? Hayden?
Let the pool table people know.
We're good.
Hi, Mike. My brother, not you. What happened? What's up?
Alrighty,
Do this shit?
let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Alright, you hear me? I'm good?
Good?
Good to hear me. I'm going to get the script up.
Oh,
Alright.
yeah. You're recording with your iPad.
Yep. It looks actually really good. I
saw, yeah. It is.
All right, it's that time of the week again. This is Breaking Brews, episode 9. I'm your host, Mikey 2.
And I'm your co-host, Nicholas Whidden.
It's going to be a great episode whenever I got Nick out here, dude. I always pull out Nick whenever I need someone amazing. It's going to be great, and dude always has something to say. We love to have it. I see you're wearing a hat. We both, like we talked about in the last episode, we went to Halloween Horror Nights. We went to the last night of Fright. It was amazing. The houses were a little lackluster, but I would say overall the scare zones were pretty good.
No, I'll be honest with you. The energy of it as everybody was coming in, like they knew that it was the last night, so they were just like coming in.
Dude,
like,
the show they put on before,
it was crazy.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. They
Dude.
were like yelling out. They were like, "Are y'all ready?" And then everybody just came in. It was amazing.
I
It was
feel
such
like
a good night.
I feel like the scare zones really. I feel like they really evened out like the scare, because usually the houses are really scary and the scare zones are lackluster. I really like the theming this year.
Yeah.
Nothing I will say, nothing will beat that 2 years ago when they had like the Squid Games type thing going on. That was pretty cool. And I hope once, because I think season 2 comes out in December, so that means next year I'm sure they'll have a Squid Games house or like a Squid's Game scare zone. But yeah, no, me and Nick, actually, we spent a lot of time together in the last couple of weeks because Nick's come with me to both my shows in Daytona.
That's right.
We've just done a lot of hanging out lately. It's been really nice, and I'm really glad. Lauren's sick this week, so we miss you, Lauren. What's up? I know you're probably watching on the live stream. But I had to bring Nick out because he really is. He's just the best co-host you can ask for.
Appreciate that.
But this week, we're really excited. We have a really good show for you guys. We have 2 of my favorite comedians here in Central Florida, and it's going to be a really fun episode. This week's topics, though, we're going to get into our first segment like we do every single week. We start out, it's a segment we like to call This or That, and it's where my co-host and I will talk about which do we like better, this or that, and then explain why, and then we invite people from the audience. It's always random. It's a lot of fun. It allows people to get over that stage fright and come up here and talk about which they like better. So this week, our first topic is going to be
Which do you like better, the West Coast or the East Coast, and why?
So I've never been on the West Coast before.
Really?
No, never. I haven't touched foot in there. The farthest I've been was Tennessee. Tennessee
Wow.
was nice, but I would say that right now, because I don't know much about the West Coast myself, I would say the East Coast.
You've been driving a lot up the East Coast. You went up to North
yeah.
Carolina or something, or South
I
Carolina?
was North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like North Carolina. It's a really pretty place. Beautiful.
I can only
mountains.
imagine what it's like at this time of year. It's got to be amazing.
No, it's
I love the
quite
cold.
Nice. I
Me
mean,
and Lauren talked about that.
Unfortunately, Asheville, North Carolina, got hit by a pretty bad storm with Hurricane Milton, I believe it was. that went
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
Hurricane Milton had went through and unfortunately had hit them pretty hard, and that was the place I had visited. I'm sorry, but it was beautiful when I went up there. It was gorgeous. Really
I mean,
pretty.
it's kind of crazy. I mean, how crazy is it that we had two really bad storms back to back? I mean, luckily we didn't get too much bad here in Brevard, but I mean,
no, not at
St.
all.
Pete got it really bad because we were supposed to go out to St. Petersburg, the Mad Hatter, and we
Yeah,
had to
and then Cocoa
reschedule because they
Beach.
didn't have any power. It was crazy for about almost a week.
Then Cocoa Beach got pretty bad too.
Oh my gosh, Cocoa Beach got
Beach had
tornadoes.
Wells
They ripped
Fargo.
the roof off of the Wells Fargo. It was crazy. The tornadoes started on top of a hair cuttery, and so like the front of the store was fine, but there's a big ass hole in the center of the sports or hair cuttery, and it's crazy. And then
Alright.
it lifted back up, and then it landed one block over at the Wells Fargo, and it tore that all up. And then I think it messed up the pier pretty bad. But it's crazy. Like, we're still dealing with repercussions from that storm.
Yeah, we are. I mean, well,
Not us
I don't know.
specifically,
like
but
Palm Bay and Melbourne area really didn't get that.
we got tornadoes. We got tornadoes pretty
bad.
bad.
We did get tornadoes. There was like 8 or 9 around us. My brother was like, he had like he has two
Yeah.
different computer screens. So he had like one screen up with his games because
Yeah.
he was gaming, but also you have one of the screens up with the tracker for the
Yeah.
tornadoes, and they were like surrounding where we
See,
were,
now-
but they never hit us.
This is why I like the West Coast better, because the West Coast, I feel like they deal more with the tsunamis than we do, but those are much more rare.
I
Right,
mean,
that's
they're
right.
more rare.
They're
but
more
also
rare.
At the same time, when
They do get hurt
it's
or
pretty
earthquakes.
bad.
They get pretty bad earthquakes. Like, I mean, I think California probably gets at least a couple like earthquakes a year, but
Give or take, yeah.
I think I've only been in one earthquake, but I think I would take an earthquake as long as it's not too bad. But you can't predict an earthquake that well. So that's
True.
kind of that you get a lot more of that scariness of it, where if you have a hurricane, you at least got like 3 to 4 days to like evacuate. But I like the West Coast also because I feel like, I don't know, Florida is all right, but I feel like they take care of like the hot spots better. Like if you drive through like Bel Air or Hollywood, like there are some slummy areas of it, but I feel like all of Orlando for the most part has just kind of gone downhill. I feel like it's gone down, and it sucks. And same thing with Miami's doing okay, but like now Tampa's done. Like it's they're gonna have to rebuild some stuff. St.
Yeah.
Pete's gonna have to rebuild. But with the West Coast or whatnot, there's the designated areas where there's kind of like the big homelessness issue, and I feel like it's more they carry themselves with a bit of a higher standard, which isn't always the best thing. But you know, I'd rather take pompous people than like, you know, how most of Florida looks.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't mind the West Coast at all. I mean, from what I've heard, it's very good. I mean, it's very expensive, especially on, gas
Yeah.
and stuff like that you need. But more or less, like, it seems like most of the parts of it are well taken care of. And, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get into our first guest, Sammy. Hey, Sammy. Sammy. Yeah. Our first guest is going to be Sammy. You guys have seen Sammy before. I think she's popped in once or twice. But Sammy's going to tell us what she likes better. Does she like the West Coast or the East Coast better? So I'm going to have you talking to this mic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, you're going to take that one. I forgot. Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, hello everyone. So I would say my favorite is probably going to be the West Coast. And I'm going to say that because, I don't know, just going over there, like the beaches are so beautiful. It seems
Yeah.
like there's a lot more to do because I've lived here so long. So when I go over there, it's like a whole new just thing to venture into and explore everything.
I was going to mention that because, like, our beaches really aren't that pretty and the water's not pretty.
Right.
And the Gulf Coast is not the East Coast. The Gulf Coast is gorgeous.
Right, it's
And,
so pretty.
but, like, I don't know, like, you hear about Daytona Beach and Cocoa Beach, but it's not because of how pretty they are. It's because of the surf. But, like, you hear about Malibu, you hear about Santa Fe,
Right.
Santa Cruz. You have all those.
It's so beautiful over there, yeah. Just everything's so nice.
I feel like
the
they keep
towns
it
are
well.
even nicer too, like the upkeep.
Like, I wish we got one single boardwalk. Like, the Daytona boardwalk is pretty big, but, like, I wish it was like
Right.
the piers out there because
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, we are still on the East Coast. You have like the piers in New York, but that's about it. I mean, there's Myrtle Beach, but I don't even think they have a pier.
I went down to Key West. I don't remember the exact name of it. I went to an awesome bar down there though. And
Yeah.
It's so beautiful down there too. But it was super cute too. Very like tropical vibes.
That's kind of that. It borders that East
Yeah.
Coast / Gulf. It's like right where they meet.
Right.
But that's one thing. I mean, I feel like they really do have us beat on the beaches. Because like,
Yeah.
here's the thing: is I wouldn't go to a beach out here. I would go to a beach in California. I'm really weird about textures and sand and stuff, but the
Yeah.
sand over in California is way different.
I've been to California, but I've never been to the beach, so I couldn't even know what it
I went
feels
to
like, but-
Santa Monica, and the beach that's outside of San Francisco.
Yes.
I love San Francisco. Like, okay, if I was gonna compare cities, like for why I like the East Coast and the West Coast, San Francisco is better than any. I would say better than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is still the Gulf Coast, but like we don't really have anything like that over here. Like
Right.
we have like the Sebastian Inlet, but that's nothing compared to like San
yeah.
Francisco, and it's not a city. It's just the inlet.
Honestly, I just prefer clear water when swimming.
Yeah, I love
Honestly,
Clearwater.
More than anything.
And that's another thing. I'll go to Clearwater's beaches, but I won't go to
Yeah.
ours because I don't know. I feel like it's different. I love when the sand turns red over in Clearwater. Like that's awesome.
So pretty.
It's like it's weird how that works. It's crazy how nature is. Well, thank you, Sammy. I appreciate you coming up here. We always love having Sammy come up.
Thank you, Mikey. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate
Wonderful.
it.
All right.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, you got it.
Ah, cut that out.
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
Thank you.
See you, Sammy. You guys missed it. Before we started filming, Sammy and Alyssa got a really embarrassing video of me dropping it low on TikTok. So
God.
we'll post a link to that in
I'm not sure if
the
I'm gonna see
description.
that, Mikey, come on, man.
Oh, you weren't here when that, dude. I'm
No,
not gonna
I was
lie.
not here
Hey,
when that happened.
I've never thrown it back before, but I mean, hey, Bear Assets, hit me up. No, but
Jesus Christ.
all right. Well, our next topic is gonna be, which is of all the events that you know, and this doesn't not even just here at all Kava bars, which is your favorite event that a Kava bar puts on?
Open mic here.
Open mic here?
I mean, it's got to be here. I'm not trying to advertise the place.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not
not.
saying
We're not
nothing,
trying to
but like
advertise the place, but,
we
the-
collectively have the best open mic.
You have the best open. We have the best open. Well, they have the best open mic here because not only is the stage really well set
I mean,
up for it.
Not many
it's
Kava
like-
bars have a stage
No.
built into it.
No, not at all. Not most cover bars have a stage, other than I would say Tide's Tea House
Sebastian,
and
Island Route.
No, no, not that one. Yes, they do.
It's
actually.
tiny,
It's like very
and then
small.
Satellite has a really nice stage, but it's small. This
Yeah.
one's like, I feel like this is slightly bigger, and theirs is like a cone almost. This is a box. I mean, look, we have a whole drum set behind us, and we can still fit a desk up here, and we can still have room to lean back and stuff.
No, I mean, yeah, you can still like chill out, relax, do what you need to do, but nonetheless, yeah, open mics are my favorite. I would say that a lot of my life, I got through life with my music because music was
Yeah.
just like that main thing. I
Dude,
really
music
loved
is so
listening to
therapeutic.
music. There was a bunch of different genres and stuff like that you could listen to, but having the open mic and hearing all these voices, there's a lot of people up here that really know what they're doing. They
Yeah.
have really beautiful voices. Like there's a Kava tender, a bartender here. Her name is
Maeve?
Maeve. Yeah,
Dude,
She
Maeve
has
is a
the
beautiful singer.
She has the largest range I've ever seen out of any singer.
Nick,
Even like some of the famous people, like she has a very large range.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Nick.
Range.
Before I reached out to you, I reached out to Maeve first, because I don't know, Maeve really does
That's
bring like
fine.
Maeve just brings a very I don't know how to explain it. Just a very youthful, very up energy person, and like I really want to talk with her sometime. So I think in December we're gonna have Maeve on as a co-host.
Good.
I'm really excited about that.
Good.
Maeve really is super talented. Like if you guys ever get a chance to come out here, I remember I met Maeve at the open mic at Island Root a couple years ago, and it was awesome. Maeve's really talented. I will say the open mics are really amazing, but what my favorite event is that a Kava bar puts on is Kava crawls.
Oh yeah.
I know it's kind of
That
like
stuff is
an
fun as
unspoken
heck.
event, but like one thing that we're gonna start doing here, Corbin and I were talking last week, and he's gonna be putting me in charge of scheduling some Kava crawls. He'll rent a 15-passenger van, and we'll take all of us out and go Kava crawl.
Heck yeah.
So I'm really excited to start doing stuff like that, because the cool thing about a Kava crawl is, and I've talked about it before, but with Kava crawls, you are able to do about 4 to 5 bars in a single night. And, you know, I'm all about synergy. And I know some Kava bars, like, that I know, like, here's the thing is the Kava bars that usually end and, like, close are the ones that aren't willing to share the wealth.
True.
Because they're so worried. They're like, oh, well, if I promote somebody else's bar, they're going to leave mine and go to theirs. But that's not how it works. If you really know how the Kava community works, you have people that will go to any bar. I mean, like, for example, you got people that come here all the way from Titusville, people that come here from Cocoa, people that come here from Sebastian, people that come here from Fort Pierce. Like, dude, that's crazy.
It's a really wide range of people.
But, like, this isn't their only Kava bar. They're able to go to other bars, and
Yeah.
it's so nice to have something like that where people that usually maybe are regulars here get a chance to explore other bars that are usually, you know, you go a good couple miles away, a good 10 to 15 miles to another Kava bar. So,
No, I mean, it would be a lot of fun. I've seen a bunch of them in the past. I mean, I've done,
I'm
as
s- I've
Mikey knows, I've done Kava bar crawls of my own. I've went to like a
He
bunch
does
of
the
different
best.
places. I've went up to Pacific Roots, then hit Elevate Kava Lounge, then I've came down
Kava
here,
Culture.
hit Kava Culture as well while I was up there. Then came down here, did like Pacha, Tide's Tea House, Burn Botanicals, not Pacific Roots because that was up in Orlando, but like you know, all the Island Roots, all the did Raisin, did stuff
Yeah.
like that, like a bunch of stuff.
Well, that's the thing
It
is,
was fun.
it's really nice to have, you know, a lot of options. Especially, I mean, some places aren't as lucky as we are in Brevard or in Orlando or Tampa or Miami. They're not lucky enough, like especially like out in Colorado. I know they have 2 Kava cultures out there that are like, I think like 4 streets apart, and those are the
Give or take,
only
yeah.
ones. Those are the only ones in Colorado. And then in Pennsylvania, there's only one Mechanicsburg, I think. I think they might be opening one in Philly, but it's a Bula or a Kava Culture or Bula that's in Mechanicsburg, PA.
Oh wow.
I'll have to check it out. But no, I wanna if I could have like partial ownership, I would love to open a Kava bar in Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh is just so big. Like it's big, but it's also condensed. Like there's districts, you know. It's kind of like the Hunger Games. You have the industrial district, you have kind of the wealthy district, the city district, the college district, the medical district, and then you have the mountain. You have Mount Washington. But no, I would love to. I mean, we can work something out because you seem to know all the places to go. So,
Here's a really good question.
okay.
If you were to open a Kava bar, what would the theme of it be? And what would you promote within that Kava bar? Like, what would be the main promotion out of that Kava bar?
So if I were to open a Kava bar, I've already planned it out. I've been planning it out since 2017. If I were to open a Kava bar, the front half would just be your stereotypical bar, but I would want it to be an old school diner style bar where it's got a jukebox, it's got the red leather seats and booths, but then one side of the bar has a kind of like a doorway that opens up, and it opens up to an arcade, and that's the game room. It's got the old school like skating rink carpets, black lights, arcade machines, a couple TVs to plug in game systems. Then on the other side, you would have another room that would be set up as like a Dungeons and Dragons place where people can do tabletop games.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it gets cool Now, I would need a big enough space, but beside both of those doors or those openings would be 2 doors on both sides that would lead into a theater, and it would be a venue.
Okay.
So it would be able to help promote alcohol-free concerts.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And it would be sick. It would be so cool, and it would be big. Like, I would have it kind of like, imagine, you know how Tides has that back room?
Yep.
Imagine 2 of those in length. That's pretty much how big I would want it to be, maybe even 3.
Okay.
But I would have to find a warehouse and then convert the front.
All right.
But yeah, so that's what I would do.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Well, we're going to get our next person up here to talk about this. So, who are we having on? I can't remember who we were talking to prior.
You're talking to Sammy. Who else do you want to bring up? See if Sammy's friend wants to come up.
Alyssa is coming up. She's coming up for the last one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait. No, Alyssa. You're up now. I was... Nick's the smart one today. Nick's keeping me in check. All right, everybody. This is Alyssa. So, Alyssa, which is your favorite event to do at a Kava bar? And it can be any Kava bar. It doesn't have to be just here.
I would have to say ping pong.
Ping pong.
It really gets my adrenaline going, you know?
I will say, I like ping pong.
Gets me going. You meet some good people, you know?
They do ping pong at T Club and Island Route Century. They do it anywhere else? Oh, they do it at Raisin.
They do that. That's where I would play at, was
Raisin. It's yeah. I used to go out every single Wednesday and Sunday morning and play. I don't know if you know Kirby. Kirby's the older, skinnier gentleman, and Mike, and we would go out there. And it's funny. They're both probably like a little more than double my age. Mike might even be 3 times my age. Sorry, Mike, I'm calling you out. But like they have way more cardio than I do. I'm getting exhausted, and they're going like round for round for like 4 hours at Raisin, and I love it. I love the. It's different than pool because I feel like you are doing a little more cardio, and yeah, there's like a lot of skill, like the spinning, the spikes.
You gotta make sure you actually have like a good angle on how you hit it.
Yeah, dude, because like I remember whenever I first started playing, like I wouldn't understand that you need to aim the paddle down. I would always hit it like that, and it would go, whoosh, and it would just like fly off the table.
So I like ping pong. I also like open mic night here.
Yeah, Nick was just talking about that.
People that come out here.
Well, when are we gonna get you on stage?
Thursday.
Thursday. You guys can come see Alyssa on Thursday.
I'm gonna host a comedy show.
Oh yeah, she's gonna tell jokes.
I'm gonna tell
You want to sample some jokes now?
All right, ready?
All right, what you got?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting cat. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, if that's your kind of comedy, come out Thursday. And if it's not your kind of comedy, don't tell your friends. Just tell them it's a great show. Well, thank you so much, Alyssa. I appreciate your input. We love Alyssa. Alyssa was one of the other people that was out there filming the TikTok with me. They tricked me into doing a TikTok in the beginning where pretty much they each go, show me the money, and then everybody applauds, and then they go, show me the money, and everybody applauds, and then it gets to me, and then I go, show me the money, and then nobody applauds.
What are you getting yourself into, Mikey?
I don't know,
Come
man.
on, man.
See, I'm not much of a TikTok guy, but I'm learning.
All right.
All right, well, we're going to get into our final topic for the this or that segment. That is going to be, which would you prefer to do? Read a book or listen to an audiobook?
Listen.
Dude, I love
rather-
audiobooks.
I rather
I love
listen
them.
to an audiobook. There's a gentleman that I watch on YouTube. His name's Mr. Ballin, and he does strange, dark, and mysterious stories.
Okay.
It can be horror stories. It can be medical stories. It could be any sort of like that kind of story. I just like the true crime stuff. You know what I mean? I like hearing about like the different.
I love true
stories
crime.
About, you know yeah.
Because here's the thing is, like, whenever I'm driving, I'll listen to, like, true crime on YouTube. So I can imagine, I can imagine it's the same on an audiobook.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great. And actually, on the audiobook, you get to, like, close your eyes and actually immerse yourself in
Wow.
that world.
That's
and,
crazy.
Like, figure it out. It's actually really, really cool.
I will say, no, like, my attention span being so absolute garbage, I cannot read a book to save my life. I can try, but the only books I've ever been able to read is like, and they're not even particularly even books. They're like research papers.
Yeah.
I love Neil deGrasse Tyson's work. Like I could listen to him talk and read for hours, but he does audiobooks as well. And like, I love astrophysics. Like there's so much cool stuff about astrophysics that like, I don't think I could focus long enough to read all that. And I don't think I could read half the words that he pronounces. But like, he also has a Star Talk, which is his podcast / YouTube thing. I love listening to that. Like there was a time where I watched episode 1 all the way throughout in like 6 months. Like it was crazy. I was listening to it nonstop.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I feel like with reading, I don't know, like for people that like to read, and like they get like that enjoyment and satisfaction from reading out of a book, all the power to you. You can have all my books. But I would rather just listen to somebody read it to me. It just kind of like brings me back to that childhood comfort of like having my mom read to me or whatever, and it's soothing, dude. Especially when Neil deGrasse Tyson talks, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, him, and then like anybody else that does that. Yeah, for sure. You want to have like an audiobook to listen to.
Plus, I feel like audiobooks are usually cheaper than the regular book.
Oh my god, yeah. Like you can look up a book that's usually like $25-30. It's like $3 for an audiobook.
You ready? Are you ready to like come up? Okay. Well, whenever I was younger, actually that's not so there's a book series. I think I might have talked about it once on the podcast, but there's a book series, and it's kind of funny because I'm not the biggest Disney fan, but Disney has a series called Kingdom Keepers, where it's pretty much the whole basis of the book and the series is there's these kids that are like actors, but they go to Disney and they record themselves as holograms during the day, but when they fall asleep at night, their bodies get transferred to their holograms inside the park, and all the villains and heroes come to life, and there's like a war happening inside Magic Kingdom and throughout all the parks. But whatever happens to their holograms, so like the way they kind of show how insane it is Buzz Lightyear, or Captain Hook is chasing the main characters with like the Buzz Lightyear gun, and they shoot one of the kids, and the kid wakes up with a hole, and it's like he burned through his flesh, and it's pretty graphic for like a Disney book, but it's really cool, and like there's a whole bunch of like Easter eggs about it that's just really cool. It's growing up in Florida, you get to know a little bit about it, but yeah, so that's one thing I really like. There's certain books that I can read, and I will be able to stay focused, but it has to be a good book. Like those I haven't read since I was in like maybe 11th grade. But we're going to get somebody up here to come talk to us right now about which they like better, to read books or audiobooks. So I think Grant's going to come up here. We just got to wait for him to walk up.
Okay.
And then after this, we're going to have our guest come up. So I'm really excited about that.
Cool.
You guys get to hear this sound. Hey, Everett, you want to come up here for a second? So before we go into the final topic with Grant, I'm going to have Everett come up here with Tiave Teas. Tiave Teas has been a proud sponsor of the podcast since we started, and we're going to have Everett come up here, and Everett is the owner of Tiave Teas. And yeah, come in on this side. So Everett this past Saturday had a really big milestone for him. Friday. So go ahead and tell him, Nick, you'll take Nick's mic, and go ahead and tell him what we're getting into this past week.
All right, for just what was going on Friday?
Yeah.
All right, so Friday was the launch of the second bar that Tiave Teas has been in, which is a huge milestone because with that second bar comes its sister bar, and it allows us to grow the business in new ways, get a new facility to produce our product. So Friday was the launch where we officially had a party for it. It was a great turnout. At one point, we had probably about 50 people in the building.
It was amazing.
We did
giveaways. It was
we gave
crazy.
Away a growler. We gave away a glass of Tiave, a $60 gift card. And it was just like a great time. We catered the whole event with Chick-fil-A.
It was amazing, dude.
Sandwiches. It was a lot of fun.
I mean, dude, like, I don't know what it is. Well, I mean, I know what it is. You've created a brilliant product, and the numbers go to show for themselves. The amount of people that came out to support you, like, one thing I talk about a lot whenever we have sponsors and stuff is that, like, I won't support a business, or I won't have a business sponsor us that I don't support and I don't agree with. And, dude, you're doing everything right. Like, you're not using any extract, but you make a potent tea that's tasty and it's not bitter. And you have so many flavors to choose from now, like especially now in the holiday seasons. What flavors do you got coming out?
I have a ton of flavors, although the most popular is definitely candy apple. That's pretty much, if you go into Nocturne right now or you go into Kraken right now, which is the new location, it's at Kraken Kava. It's off Malabar and 95, right there in that plaza with Goodwill. Is you're going to get candy apple almost 90% of the time. But I also do
Amazing.
raspberry peach,
Ooh.
which a lot of people like, mango blueberry.
Mango blueberry is my favorite.
I do currently only available here. Unfortunately, I haven't ordered it in a while.
Yeah.
Is the fairy berry, which is a lavender cranberry cherry.
Ooh.
I love that one. That one took a while to nail, so it was really nice when we nailed it. Other ones I've worked on, I did a strawberry honey vanilla one for a while. But
I like vanilla, and you said strawberry and honey.
yeah, but my hands down probably one of my personal favorites was I made a strawberry watermelon mint flavor that I called
Ooh.
summer melon. It was really crisp.
I remember that one.
I love that one. That one was one of my favorites too.
Well, thank you so much for coming out here, Everett, and we appreciate you talking about it. I mean, you guys can follow him on Tiave Tees, tiave.tees, and dude, it's crazy. He's always doing giveaways. So if you guys are
Always
following
doing
them,
giveaways. We just did a hoodie drop too, so you guys go ahead and follow. You're gonna see where our new locations are coming. You're gonna see the hoodies coming out. You're gonna see giveaways, discounts. I love to give back to the community, so you're gonna see tons of stuff available on there. That's Tiave, Teave .t on Instagram.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming up here, Everett.
Thank you, man.
Dude, we love it. Alrighty. So honestly, I think it's about time to get our guests up here. I think we'll just. I feel like we pretty much described the dichotomy of whether you like audio or reading books. But I'm gonna have Nick hop off, and we're gonna have the fellas come up here. So if you want to take your drink with you, we're gonna have them come up here. So guys, everybody give it up for Matt and JP. Alrighty. So, I'm going to let them introduce themselves officially. So, take it away, fellas.
Matt Glidden, local comic, producer, entertainer, just all around fun guy.
Yeah.
Right on. Joe Packer, or JP Allen, originally from Boston, nowadays actor, model, comedian, and bank teller. So if you want to I'm your guy.
Hey, dude. The only thing that's a joke are those APR rates, man.
That's what I get you.
Yeah. See, I got jokes. Well, give us a little backstory about each of you, where you guys got started, what inspired you to get into comedy and whatnot. So we can start with you. If you want to take the mic, you're more than welcome to just talk right into it.
Yeah, so like I said, originally from Boston. So I had a friend of mine who went to Full Sail down here. She moved back home, and she wanted to get into, like, producing, like, TV and screenwriting and all that. So I was like, all right, yeah, I've always wanted to, like, do something like that. So we started just kind of messing around with that idea. COVID happened, and then for, like, fun, there were a few bars that were like, oh, open mic entertainment. So I showed up. I didn't know if I was actually going to perform or get sold into human trafficking, but, like, you know, I still showed up. The things you do for comedy at the low start, you know. And then did that, like, a handful of times, then ended up moving down here, and then one night I was like, all right, you know what, I'm going to drive out to Orlando, going to try an open mic, and then 3 years later, here we are.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, I've known both of you guys for about a year. I remember the first time I seen you guys was probably at Beachside Retro, or it was at Pineapples.
Yeah,
I think I had met, I don't think I'd seen you up on stage, but I'd seen Max. Matt was out there, him and Preach.
Yeah, we I run the open mic at Beachside Retro.
Yeah.
The first time I saw you, I think.
Yeah.
You came out.
I came out because one of my buddies was doing stand-up, Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle was doing stand-up, and I was like, I'll come check it out. Yeah, we love you, Kyle.
Everybody loves Kyle. For one reason or another.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
what got you started?
Yeah. Well, I've always been into comedy. I remember in high school just annoying the hell out of my friends, quoting Dane Cook and Brian Regan
Dude,
and Richard
literally.
Pryor, like all the greats. And I always wanted to get into it, but I never I never saw it as attainable. Like, I didn't realize that there were scenes that,
Yeah.
you know, you could go to an open mic and just try it. And then I had kids, and I got married.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a local scene. We only had Orlando.
Yeah.
And you got to drive an hour just to go to an open mic for free. That's not practical. Try convincing your wife
Yeah.
to go there 5 days out of the week so you can get good at comedy. Not happening.
That's crazy.
So then I got divorced. And I was like, oh, I got all this
Man,
free
even more
time
comments,
now. Yeah.
even more content.
Yeah. I only have my kids half the time. What am I doing this other half?
Yeah.
I'm going to sit home and jerk off. I'm going to fucking do it on stage like the greats. Louis C.K., you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So, about 2 years ago, I got out of my slump, you know, divorce and all that. And I was like, let's move this energy
To
in a
something
positive
productive, yeah.
direction. And, man, I've been addicted ever since the first time I got on stage.
Dude, there is something about, because like so this past year and a half, I've really kind of tried to focus on getting on stage to do just anything, comedy, music, just to like fill that, because I wasn't being really social. Once I got in a really bad accident 3 years ago, I couldn't do anything. I was trapped in my house. I was in a wheelchair, couldn't do anything for myself. So like my outings were like whatever I could convince my friends to do and take me to nearby. So luckily we had a lot of music open mics, but like you said, there really wasn't any comedy open mics. And we used to have one at open mic, like the business open mic. Now it's Apocalypse Coffee.
Yep. Great coffee spot. by the
Dude,
way.
it's amazing, dude. And the atmosphere is really cool. They got the farmers market and stuff.
Yep.
But it's crazy because I don't know why they don't bring that back. Like, they still have all the space for it. I think they should totally start bringing stuff back there.
The conversation has definitely been had. I don't think the open mic is what they want to pursue at the moment.
Yeah.
However, there is still that kind of nostalgia factor of
Oh,
just
yeah.
the fact that it was open mics. And I think Don't Tell Comedy is in the works.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell anybody about that.
Yeah, don't tell.
Don't tell. Don't Tell Comedy is working on getting it done over there. and
Awesome.
getting the show out there.
Well, you guys do you guys do comedy at Villains, right?
Right. So the last 2 years, like I said, there was no comedy scene here. And a lot of us got here, like we just started hitting open mics locally. And Jimmy Moynihan, he's now in Austin,
Love
Texas.
Jimmy, dude.
Jimmy Moynihan's
He's
great,
so
dude.
funny.
He brought this vibe to the comedy scene that you don't find in other comedy scenes, which is just like the welcoming, hey, let's all build each other up, let's grow. A rising tide raises all ships,
Yeah.
that type of thing. Where most comedy scenes are, they'll stab at you, they'll cut you at your kneecaps,
Yeah.
and everybody wants to,
Yeah.
toss in a bucket, right?
I feel like that is a really hard thing in comedy. Is like, I feel like in Brevard we have a really good community, but I feel like elsewhere, I feel like, you know, everybody else comes first. But I mean, especially with you, like, you're just so like giving of time. I mean, last night I was at Retro, and there was just a different vibe, you know, that I get from like the big areas that I go, like the big open mics, like having something where it's more personal and people like are actually paying attention. It makes a difference, man, because like you really do. I mean, although it's still like you do get that personal thing, is like people will still tell you if you got a bad joke. Like you can tell by the level of like the noise and stuff in a crowd. But that's the best place to test it, is because it's better to test some material out in a smaller venue and see what works and what hits. And like that's the one thing, is like you just keep on repeating it. You switch it up a little bit, tweak it each time, and then whenever you go out to somewhere like bigger or whatever, like I know Alex. I mean, Alex got to go on to Kill Tony. Like that's crazy. Like
Selena Eubias as well.
yeah, I mean, like, what are the, like, it's just so crazy to, like, think how obtainable something like that is as long as you put the work in.
Yep. Yeah, that welcoming vibe stemmed from Jimmy, and he encouraged all of us to start opening rooms and build our own time locally, because not everybody can afford, like I said, drive to Orlando 5 days out of the week. And over the last 2 years, our scene, our guys, our girls, everyone who's been working to get better at this thing we call comedy has all kind of worked together to build rooms. We have different tier rooms too. We have open mics, we have showcases, we have paid shows.
Yeah.
We invite headliners from different areas, and then all of a sudden we're networking. Like all this scene has exploded in the last 2 years.
Dude,
we have stage time
crazy.
almost every night of the week now.
I remember, what was it, back in Pineapples, you guys had Cam Patterson come through. Like,
Yep.
you just popped in.
He was there 2-3 times a month.
It's crazy. Like,
before he popped off. Yeah.
it's amazing. It's amazing to see where people would go, and it just takes one good show to pop off.
Yeah.
And-
he's a good dude too.
Oh.
man.
He's an awesome.
We,
He's
I did a lot of shows with Cam. So back when I first
Yeah.
started out, like he and I were doing a lot of open mics together.
yeah.
And I still have videos that'll pop in my timeline of like us and like other people like Joe Sensabella, Billy Swift, Ike
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Rafferty, other names that are out in Austin that are really good, really talented guys. Like Ike runs a nightly news thing similar to this, on like just his own chaotic level, and it's great. He's doing good, and it's cool to see like people that we were doing open mics with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Out there now, kind of doing this like daily, all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it worked out great. Like Matt said, like when Jimmy left and all that,
Yeah.
Jimmy left his 2 rooms, Beachside Retro and Pineapples, in the perfect hands. Matt does fantastic running it on Sundays. Eric does great on Tuesdays, booking shows together. Like, it's a really good community. All the comics work well together. And then even when we have the people from out of town come in, they always say like Melbourne's our favorite place to come because it's just
it's so spread out, There's there's different vibes in each place. But one thing I will say like that is really cool and like I owe to you guys is you guys came out for the second event like that like I had ever kind of like helped get off the ground because I started an open mic at the Reef, and then we brought the comedy night out there for a couple of months or whatnot. But now it's to the point where I'm running 6 days out of 7 days of the week. I'm doing events every single night, and like I get one night off a week, and I'm still working. It's crazy, but like now it doesn't even feel like work. Like it's just so much fun to see lots of people come out and do stuff because we have some comedians that come out to some of the open mics because I open my open mics. It's not just for music. I got people that come out that do poetry, spoken stories, comedy, and like we have some really funny people that I'm sending out you guys' way. And it's kind of crazy. There is some like really funny comedians coming up out of the Kava community that I'm really excited to see. There's a guy, he's a Kava tender at Island Road named Christian, and he's really funny, dude. Like he's
we've had him come out to a couple of
yes,
shows.
I know he did not Bonnie and Clyde's, but it's called Mojitos now.
Yeah.
Dude, and he's because he runs his material. Like I'll go up to the bar and I'll check in on him because I just seen him last night at Island Route Satellite, and I stopped in and I saw him. I was like, hey bro, like you got any stuff? And he's like, I'm kind of going through like everybody goes through as a comic. I know you guys have like writing like slumps and stuff where you kind of. And I was like, dude, honestly, like just kind of take it easy. Don't get too down about it, but hop back into it later on. What I do is whenever I'm writing music, I'll just go to somewhere random or whatever that like it's just on a quiet day, or even if it's rainy, it's best to go outside where there's covered area, and I'll just listen to stuff going on. I'll listen to conversations. That's how I gain words. Like the one song that I did last night, Dad Bod, it was funny. it's funny because it's a fan favorite. But it's just funny. I find things, especially music, that's like relatable to all people. Like everybody knows a guy that walks. Yeah. Matt's the he's just he's just not wearing his cargo shorts. But I want to talk to you guys. If you guys had an ideal tour route, like if you guys could go to any cities in a row, what would be your ideal route? Like, would you want to stay East Coast, go both East and West Coast?
So we've actually talked about this on the podcast that I'm a co-host on. Shout out the Funny Style Podcast on all platforms.
Boom.
Chris Robinson's the host on that one. We've discussed this already. We really want to go to Austin, but why fly to Austin when you could run a tour route up the Gulf Coast, hit Pensacola, hit Louisiana, and then hit Texas, hit some spots in Texas, and cut right up into Austin. So that's honestly right now that one's kind of my ideal tour route.
Okay.
That I would love to go straight up the East Coast from Miami all the way up to New York, but I don't have the time or the disposable income to be doing anything like that.
I heard that, man.
So, dude. So I think attainably and something that I really want to do, I would love to hit the Gulf Coast.
Oh yeah.
From here to Austin.
I think that would be a really cool thing. Like that's one thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to slowly work my way more north because luckily like in each state there's at least one place I could stop and do stuff, but I've been working my way up. I started here in Melbourne, then I worked it up to New Smyrna. Now I'm in Daytona, and I have a show possibly in Jacksonville, but I'm trying to work my way all the way up to Pittsburgh because I'm from Pittsburgh. I want to get all the way up there because I don't know. I feel like it's a fun route, and there's so much to do on the East Coast. There's a lot of big cities.
Absolutely, yeah. What about you, tour-wise? That would be if I were just doing like big cities. I'd obviously Boston #1. I gotta go home. I gotta perform. You gotta say what's up, dude. Just to not sound like weird for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Would be awesome.
Oh yeah, we're talking weird.
How soon do you think I could get my ass kicked if I just tried to do a Boston accent until someone figured out I wasn't doing it?
honestly, like, I probably one dude in like a, like jean shorts in the middle of the winter and like a Celtics jersey and like a Red Sox fitted cap. He's on his 3rd DUI but still has his license somehow. He's gonna stomp you out immediately.
He's friends with all the police officers.
Oh yeah.
Or trying to hide a body.
Yeah, exactly. Even more terrifying though are the women. They know how to fight without spilling their Dunkin' Donuts, and that's something that you don't want to mess with. Absolutely. But no, an ideal tour would definitely be like Boston, New York, Pittsburgh, and then Colorado, Austin.
So Pittsburgh actually has a pretty good comedy scene, which is kind of funny. I went up there, not this past December, but December prior, and I had seen yeah, no, every time something like that happens, we just reset.
Just stare at him.
Yeah. Like but in Pittsburgh, whenever I went up there, it was kind of crazy. Like, it was pretty cold and really snowy, but they have, like, pretty much in the industrial district and the sports district, they have, like, comedy clubs, like, every 8 buildings. Like, it's crazy. And Pittsburgh is really growing. Like, that's the one thing is Pittsburgh really gives back to their people. So, like, I was talking about this on the podcast. You know how they have bird scooters and, like, the rent-a-bike shit? The cool thing in Pittsburgh is the hospital and Carnegie Mellon and the government pay for 75% of those things for you to use. So instead of you spending $20 an hour for a scooter or a bike, you pay $2 an hour, and then for the first hour it's $2, and then it's like I think $1 every hour or something. It's crazy. Like, you don't get that anywhere else, and it's because the hospital I was in my car accident was the Carnegie Mellon Hospital, and they really it's huge. Like, you guys have seen Health First, like the Health First on Strawberry or Strawbridge. Imagine 12 of those, all connected. It takes up 8 city blocks. Like, it's insane. It's huge, and it's built into a mountain. But, like, I'd like cities like that. I wish more cities would do stuff like dude, Orlando could totally profit off that with Orlando Health, Advent Health. Like, it's crazy how big stuff like that's taken off. And I don't know, I feel like especially for, like, people that are going into the city or whatever to do shows or whatever, and they don't want to, like, get an Uber, it promote the healthy living. Like, I mean, I rent a bird scooter anytime I want to go out to the Improv.
Oh, hell yeah.
Or what's that one that's out there?
You bird scoot from here up to
Oh yeah. Yeah, gas is expensive, man.
Yeah, I saw you last time when we were going to Wine Trunk.
on
That was
95
it.
and 25 miles an hour.
I'm in the carpool lane, guys.
And when I run out of battery, you just see me like kicking it. But yeah, no, I think you guys really have such good personalities. I feel like you guys really could take off and go on a tour any minute. Like, you guys have such good content. You guys have so much material. Like, I feel like each time I see you guys perform, like, you guys have a good handful of new jokes. And that's the thing is, like, although, like, it's nice to have your usual stuff, throwing in a few curveballs so people don't expect what you're going to be talking about really does help switch it up. Or even switching up the, I'm not really that well in the comedy, but, like, switching up a little bit where your stories can still kind of.
Yeah. So, like, what I've noticed happens is that first 2 years, you're working on stage presence, and you're writing along the way.
Yeah.
And as your stage presence grows, your writing gets better. And now all of a sudden, this 15 minutes of jokes you had for your first year is just dog shit. And so you find yourself throughout the first 2 years cutting off the weaker jokes at the end as you add more on. So you're stuck in this loop of like 15, 20 minutes of material as you improve your comedy. But I encourage any comedians that are in that segment to not just shave those off, but to maybe put them in a little box and revisit them when they've got a new eye.
Okay,
to look at
yeah.
them. Because, yeah.
You can always spin something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I learned, being in recovery, half my jokes don't work anymore because they were just god awful. Dude. Like, being on 3 bars of Xanax, you're like, this is a really good joke. And then when, like, you're, like, 20 minutes sober, you're like, this is the dumbest thing. But that was my thing, was, like, trying to figure out, like, do I want to, like, write jokes? Do I want to be, like, set up punchline like Kyle? Do I want to be, like, you know, joke style, telling kind of, like, you know, do I want to tell stories like I do now? And that was my thing, was just trying to figure out, like, what can I do that I'm having fun with and the audience is having fun with?
See, I'm really good at, like, whenever it comes to writing music, it's different. I'm really good at writing it, but I have a lot of funny, like, literally, I have so many, like, each week, some kind of funny story happens, but it's so hard for me to write or, like, kind of structure a good comedy, like, a good 10 minutes. But I have, like, 30 minutes of good stuff, but it's making it fit together well. Like, because that's the one thing I'm really glad about whenever I come to, like, anytime I come to Retro, which it has been a little bit of a time, but, like, whenever I went for, like, that few couple, like, a month or so straight, and then even last night, I'm trying to slowly work out how I can do it. And I bounce it off the guy Christian at Island Root to, like, we bounce our ideas off each other, and he's really good at structuring. I wish I had that, because I could give somebody jokes, but, like, it's hard for me myself to actually tell the jokes in a way where it's funny. Because, I don't know, I feel like I get jumbled up. Whenever it comes to music, I'm already, like, I don't have time to focus on jumbling stuff up, because I'm focusing on strumming and, like, and singing and making sure I'm in the right key. But whenever it comes to, like, speaking, I'm garbage at it. Like, even with the podcast, I kind of get lucky because, like, I don't know. It's different.
When all you have is words, economy of words is so important. Every word has to have intent in the story. If there's any words, even just an or an or anything, none of it can be wasted.
Yeah.
And then what you want to do is chop up as much as you can out of the story to make it as short as possible.
Yeah.
And then build it out with tags. So you get it down to bare bones. How do I set up and explain the story, and then get it to the punchline in the fastest way, and then find little ticks and metaphors to throw in and side angles to take, and all of a sudden you've turned a 30-second joke into 3, 4, 5 minutes.
You know, I'm so glad that you guys are the ones that are able to do that, because you lost me. You lost me. I went brain dead for like a solid minute and a half there. I was just like, yeah, that's why I'm glad we have you guys.
We're so used to it.
You're like, I'm brain dead most of the time.
No, we're looking at just brain dead audience that have clocked out
Well,
because we're talking too much.
I'm going to add another question on, just because there's so much I want to pick at you guys' brain. But I'm going to ask you guys this next question. What's a way that you challenge yourself to stand out in the comedy scene? Because there are a lot of comedians, but what's something you do to, like, challenge yourself?
I think I luck out just because I have the Boston accent.
Oh, yeah.
And because I am, like, in recovery.
Fucking hack.
Yeah, hack over here, dude. Hack Wahlberg. But no, I think that's kind of like my, like, standout thing is, like, yeah, I have the accent, I have this, like, goofy laugh, and then I have, like, the recovery thing. So people kind of, like, remember those things because that's all I really talk about.
You're really good at handling dead space. Like, I mean, there is never. I hardly ever hear dead space in your, because you'll just pop out more. You'll just pop out stuff. You don't leave room for that awkward silence, which that's one thing is I could keep talking. Like, I can keep talking or whatnot, whether or not it's going to be funny or not, I can just keep talking. Ask anybody, dude. Especially here, dude. You get me in a conversation, I won't shut up.
Yeah.
But, so you have a really, like, you just have a knack for keeping the story going.
Yeah. I'm just a good storyteller, man. That's why I try to just tell stories and not jokes when I'm on stage.
For sure.
Yeah.
What
I don't really think, I haven't noticed anything that I do in particular that makes me stand out from other comedians, but the energy I bring to the table is likability, which has been really good for me as a host.
Yeah.
I've been hosting a lot lately, and I get the crowd into it. I get them. Yeah, there we go. All right, hell yeah, dude. You look like Mickey Mouse, bro. But no, you were talking about, like, making sure that there's no awkward silences, but I've been learning to utilize those awkward silences, where I'll pause after a setup. Maybe there's no tag or joke there, but that pause after the setup lets them know where to laugh when the punchline gets there, because I paused and now that locked into their brain. And the punchline, and sometimes you got to let a punchline sit, and you got to let that awkward silence just...
I'm sure you guys have seen this. Have you guys seen that clip of the guy that doesn't say anything on Kill Tony?
Yeah.
And he does it 3 times.
Malamud.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that, like, I don't know. Like, there's some people. You can only do it so many times.
Yeah.
But, like, I will say, I feel like you do stand out, and, like, where you stand out is who you are, like, as a person. Like, not just your energy, but, like, the way that you carry yourself on stage is just so professional. I feel like you're way ahead of a lot of people in the game, in the sense where, like, like you put every show out as if it's a Netflix special. Like you were just so.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, seriously.
Well, no, what I was gonna build off that because I've seen you perform from like the beginning, so it's cool to see your evolution of like the hey guys, where's the sign up to like running shit right now.
I have the video recording of my second time ever on stage that will never see the light of day. But I watch it to humble myself every once in a while, or to encourage myself, because when I have like a really bad set, I'm like, dude, I suck. And then I go watch this video and be like,
You know, I didn't do too bad.
I've been doing it. Maybe it was the crowd. Maybe the crowd sucked.
You're like, this guy bombed.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Great.
No, I genuinely appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really like you two specifically. Like, there's a few people that have kind of reached out once I mentioned what I was doing, but I specifically wanted you guys on first because I feel like you guys set a precedent. It's, at least in Brevard, for sure. You guys set a precedent for like what two guys can do, pretty damn well. Like, I'm really glad that you guys are like came on. Like, you guys really are so funny. Like, even whenever you're not on stage, you guys are funny. Like, I know as a comedian, like, you know, you got to fight for that shit 24/7. But like, I've never laughed harder than like the night where it was me, you, what's his name? Noah. Dude, Noah's just so funny. Like,
If Noah was here, he'd be like, yeah, I like the decorations around here.
Yeah.
Better not get too comfortable with that flag. He's Trump America now. It's like, bro, whoa, what's going on?
dude, he did that last night. I saw.
He's like, yeah, nice decorations. Don't get too comfortable.
Dude,
Like, we're gonna replace that flag.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's free
yeah.
Wi-Fi. Bump his tunes, man.
Dude, oh my gosh, dude, and you guys are just so funny, like constant, like you guys can bat out stuff like nonstop, and like I'm in pain laughing. Like we'll be playing a game of pool and I can't make a shot because I can't stop laughing. But that's one thing. Like I will say, like especially like I've seen you around at the Kava bars, and I've seen you around. You've been coming out here a little bit more, but it's crazy. Like there's a whole untapped market. I feel like in the Kava community because there's some Kava bars. Like I feel like some jokes wouldn't hit at some Kava bars, but there was a lot of like. I mean, shit, the jokes that we make here are just crazy. Like, I mean, like, I feel like there's a lot more. I feel like I wish I could have kept it going at the Reef or whatnot, but I feel like you guys needed a bigger space. And I feel like,
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like there's a lot. Kava bars now are expanding to become such bigger places. Like, if you look at Kava Tea Club, it's over in downtown Melbourne. That's that big one that's got like, it used to be a call center, but they turned it into a Kava bar. Here, there's just so much space. I think this is like 2,500 square feet or something like that here. They're opening. It's not particularly a kava bar. It's a kombucha bar in Merritt Island. They're moving from a 2,700 foot or square foot facility to a 7,500, and they're gonna have a canning line in the back or whatever. But it's not gonna take up too much space. Like I mean, for a canning line, it'll take up enough space, but it's still gonna be maybe 2,000 of that's gonna go to the canning line, and then you still have 5,000 to work with. I'm working hopefully with them. That's actually one of our sponsors, Big Dog Kombucha. They're really good. We love Big Dog. And it's funny, this past week, I actually spent, I think, like 4 days there in a row. They have this one drink that tastes like strawberry soda, and I don't like soda anymore since my accident. But it's strawberry yopon, and it's super good. I wish I would have had some up here, but I drank it all before I got here. And I was looking when I was in the car, I was like, oh, crap. But no, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I know Lauren, she's at home right now probably drinking some kombucha. But with the podcast, you know, I really like to have people and businesses on here that I really like agree with. I was just talking about that with having Everett come up here. Dude, he makes so like you guys have never had a tea strong. Before you leave, get a Kava tea before you get out of here. What do you guys what did you guys drink? I see you guys are gone now.
Yeah. All right, so I got the Solstice,
The
Palmer.
yeah.
Wicked good, wicked nice. Natty boy.
I got the solar flare.
That's Lauren's favorite drink. She has that every single episode.
So I got the no, not Lauren, the bartender.
Oh, that's
bartender
Kate.
drink,
Kate.
too.
Yeah.
I had the London Fog. Randy put me on that one. That one.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Love Randy.
Kind of sweet. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. It's like a milk tea kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so I have my own drink here, the Mikey, where it's pomegranate juice, or it's pomegranate, raspberry, and simple syrup, dude, with just any, usually green tea, because I like to mellow out for the podcast. Because if I drink too much white tea, I'll be like, bouncing. And like even still, I've been bouncing my leg or whatnot, but I haven't had time to relax all day. I've just been go go go.
Yeah, that's great.
But
No, we would love to do shows out here. For sure.
yeah,
I
we're
know that there's-
trying to set some stuff up.
Yeah.
Because there's some days where we don't have anything going on, and it honestly would just help. And again, like especially here at this bar, like you got people from all walks of life, so like everybody's really cool with a lot of stuff. Like everybody, here's the thing: is people here can take jokes. I feel like there's some places that can't take jokes. There's some bars that can't take jokes. There's some kava bars that can't take jokes. Some coffee shops can't take jokes. And it's just like you have to play the crowd. You can't.
Yeah, so a little over a year ago, I started a show with Jimmy Moynihan called Asking for a Friend.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been on hiatus because we didn't have the right venue for it.
Yeah.
And I feel like this place, these people,
I remember you talking to me slightly about it.
perfect to have this show. I would love to even do a segment one of these times.
Dude, honestly,
Like a taste for it.
that would be amazing.
But the general consensus or the general premise of the show is that the audience writes down on an index card a problem they're dealing with in life, whether it be work, relationships,
Yeah.
family, friends, whatever. They put it into a bucket or a paint can in
Yeah.
this case, and then they get to anonymously be heard by the people speaking on stage.
Exactly.
And then we try to solve the problem, but when you put comedians to try to solve a problem,
Oh,
fucking
it's yeah.
hilarious.
The problem just gets worse.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I feel like that would play very well here.
For sure. I think, and here's the thing is like at that point, the people are choosing what's being talked about. So like, you're really not going to have as much of a.
Well, it depends on who you have.
Don't let me write my problems
No,
down.
we'll steer it.
Celeste, party foul, Celeste. Yeah. Shame.
Who raised her?
I know. She grew up in a kava bar. All right. Well, this is an impromptu question I want to ask you guys. So whenever you're writing, what's your atmosphere like? Where do you guys go to write? Like where would you go? Like if on a day you have nothing going on, where do you go to write?
So my writing process, everyone's writing process is a little
Yeah.
different. My ideas come to me when I'm doing something that doesn't require my brain, if that makes sense.
Oh,
if I'm
I get it.
mowing the lawn, if I'm washing dishes, if I'm folding laundry, my brain is off and I'm just in autopilot. That's when something pops in my head. I stop what I'm doing. I write down as much as I can on my phone.
Oh yeah.
And then
My
I
notes app is
focus on
full.
what I was doing, right? And so then I'll take an hour or two out of my day. I'll sit down with a coffee or a water or a tea at my dinner table
Yeah.
with my notebook out. Pen to paper is the best way to get good jokes on paper. It feels good and it stays in your head. And then you can you take those premises that I wrote down before and I economy of words. I slice them up into bits.
Okay.
I get the chunk and I get the punchline and then I build it out and that's kind of what I do. Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. So I have a lot of clients throughout Brevard that I work with specifically. And one thing that's really cool is I get to work with some of like their employees and I get to train some of them or even just kind of being in the atmosphere with some of these people. I've met some of the funniest people like that I build off of so well. Like whenever there's a guy, here's the thing is I'm not great at the stand-up bit, but I totally could be a writer because the shit that we come up with is insane. Like we have like this bit that like we just came up with the other day where it's like imagine you and this guy are in an argument and you know how everybody's like, you know what, talk to the hand. And like so the guy is like, you know, I'm done with this, you can just talk to the hand or whatever, and you look over to the hand, the camera pans over, and it's like a human realistic face on the hand, and it's like, kill me, help. and then you're like, and the guy acts like it's normal, and he doesn't even notice it, and he's like, and the guy that sees it's like, I gotta get going, and then the hand's like, please, and then the guy puts the hand in his pocket and he gets muffled, just like shit like that, or like I've heard kids say some of the wildest things, and there's a skit I wanna put out. It's called Kids Say the Darndest Things, and like I've heard some wild shit from kids.
I used to work with kids, believe me. I'm not.
So what? Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, that part of it is just the larva stages of writing the joke. Though.
Yeah.
It still hasn't even been born until you brought it to the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And you work it out on stage. Jokes are never done.
Yeah.
Some people just write on stage. They come up with ideas in their head, they bring it to the stage, and then they just do a joke and they remember it. But that's but everybody's got
I'm so glad. I love Nick, dude. Nick's got such a dude could be a bouncer.
The podcast that I'm on, the host, Chris
Yeah,
Robinson,
yeah.
he writes like a fucking lunatic. He
Yeah.
shuts all the lights off in his house. He waits till late at night, and he paces around his house. I feel for his wife because I imagine she gets up
Imagine
for a
you-
midnight snack and just this gorilla or bear is. This giant man, this elephant of a man, is pacing through the house. I don't know why I said that. All right, love you, Chris.
Chris, we love you, buddy. But no, my writing process is very similar to like Matt was saying. Like if I come up with ideas, my thing is though is I don't write. Everyone makes fun of me for it. I don't write down anything in my phone. I carry Post-it notes with me.
Mark Norman.
Yeah, I'm very much Mark Norman. Like I'll literally pull them out at shows sometimes. I'm like, I don't know what I don't have a set list, so I'm like, let me see what we got. And then it's just like, oh, okay, Slim Jims and homeless people. Don't know what I was going for with that one, but like, let's see what we can make.
I could never write any of my jokes down because my handwriting is so bad. Like, if we ever found one of the old like open mic papers, dude, I warn people. Like, I tell businesses when I work with them, do not ask me to write you anything. That's why I always have my iPad on me and I'm always typing on it because you do not like. If it came to like, okay, the reason that my nickname and my stage name is Michu is because one time I wrote my in college I used to work with a lot of foreign students and there was a Venezuelan student and we used to play pool and I wrote for the only time ever in my life I wrote my name out as Mike Tew, my last name, and he walks up and he goes, "Who the hell's Michu?" He's like, "This guy sounds like a Pokemon." I was like, and so ever since then it stuck and. Dude, it's just so funny. So, and he's like, he goes, Michu too, and he sounds in the Venezuelan accent. I'm just like, dude, I love this. So now everybody ever since college just called me Michu.
I'm so glad that my handwriting is terrible because no one will ever be able to see it.
Yeah.
I think they're worth stealing in the first place. But what's great is when I write out my set list, I will not. Here we go. So I won't write out the joke. I'll just like keywords for me to remember what the joke is. So it'll be stuff like Mariah karaoke, short problems, horse jockey. Where's it at? Finger butt. Finger butt's a good one. Feminism, divorce. I don't even know what. Tiny hands and eye herpes.
Oh, we love the eye herpes.
Everybody loves eye herpes. Not sexually transmitted, by the way.
Ladies. Hey, we got the flag, yeah. We got the flag. Calm down, Noah Jr. Oh, man. Well, you guys, I really appreciate you coming out here because, seriously, I mean, this, again, I don't laugh as hard except for when you guys are here. Like, you guys are really funny. You guys are really personable. You guys have so much going for you. You guys are both still young. Like I mean, Matt less than you.
I'm trying to hang on as long as I can. I'm trying to hang out with the youngsters.
Yeah, man. Hey, but I'm really glad that like you guys are still in the area. You guys are always doing stuff, so it's glad to see. You both have been on Alex's podcast. It's awesome to see like everybody like.
Shout out Alex.
Dude, we Alex and friends. We love it, cause not you, Alex. There's another Alex. Hi, Alex. That's Alex. But dude, it's something. That's the thing is what I like about Alex is I could listen to Alex talk or whatever. Like I was saying yesterday, is I listen to the podcast to and from Orlando or whatever because the episodes are just the right length to get there and back or whatnot. Because when I go to Orlando, it's not long enough that I can listen to a whole playlist because then I'm skipping through to get to the songs I want to. But whenever it comes to like certain podcasts, like they're just the right length.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you guys coming out here. You guys got a lot of great info out there for a lot of people that might want to get up into comedy. And we'll for sure have to have that on here, dude. I think that'd be a great idea, what's asking for a friend. And where can they find you guys?
Yeah, so you can find me at JP Allen Comedy on your favorite doom scrolling app, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. That's JP, just letters, and then Allen is ALLAN. And yeah, I'll be doing a couple shows here in Melbourne. We are at Villain Coffee every Friday, El Mojito in downtown Melbourne every Thursday, Chumley's in downtown Melbourne every Wednesday, Pineapples Moon Room Showcase every Tuesday.
We love the Moon Room.
Matt has a show, The Dunes, first Saturday of every month. The Dunes, Cocoa Beach. You can hang out with my
Ooh,
boy
I love the
Matt
Dunes.
Glidden.
Did you guys do it on the back patio?
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. They got a really nice patio, and they got the privacy fences, so like
Yeah.
nobody really sees it.
It's a
So it
great
really
spot.
helps
I
for
love it.
like the stage presence and stage fright.
I did it.
Your turn.
I was gonna say, by the way, at Magulating
Before I shout out my socials, I want to shout out Weedline. I like to rep Weedline any chance I get. Eric Erlacher makes those. Also the host of Pineapples. Shout out. M Glidden Comedy on all platforms. You can find all my stuff wherever you're at. I'm also on the Funny Style podcast with Chris Robinson.
We love it.
Brian Milligan, Rafiq Shaheen, and Preach Carter. Also, if you need any work done around the house, I'm a handyman. Matt Services
Hello.
LLC on Instagram. You can see the work I've done, so you can decide if you want me to come out and service you.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, hand jobs are
Hey, breaking marriages up since 2001.
well, since whenever mine did.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago, actually. Oh, shit.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. I really appreciate it, guys. Boom. Yeah, we'll have you guys back out here for sure.
Thanks, dude.
Awesome, guys. Woo!
Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir. Alrighty. We got Nick coming back up here. We love having Nick back. Seriously, their socials are gonna be plugged above them in the video, so you guys will see that. One really cool thing about being able to have so many different types of people out here is that, like, especially being in Brevard, there's so much to do. I feel like we won't ever run out of content. Like, especially if we circle back, like, because we'll have them back on for some comedy stuff. I'm really excited about that. We have a really talented city, I feel, or a very talented county. There's just so much to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's like you had the people up here before. You have your comedy people. You have your musicians, which are really good.
Yeah.
Like you have like O'Galley, for example. They
Oh,
have
yeah.
that massive outdoor venue for people that want to
Oh, yeah.
come and like go sing and what have you.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's like a lot more stuff.
Well, one thing I'm really excited about is, although we have had a lot of people with talents come out here onto the podcast, one thing we're going to be having out is we're going to have some people to come out here and talk, maybe for like 2 weeks. We'll have a 2-week run where we have people that come out here and talk about business. Teach you how to open up a business, how to start one, how to do your taxes, how to do a lot of stuff for yourself as an adult, and I'm really excited about that. I know we're going to be talking, hopefully, with Tony Childers from Island Root. We're going to be talking with, there's a whole bunch of people. Todd Sperlin, he's going to come out here. We're going to talk with him. Romeo McCall. We love to see businesses grow, and I mean, if it weren't for Nocturne here, this podcast wouldn't even be, I don't know where we'd be if it would have ever started. And it's just a blessing that there's people that are out here doing so well that they're able to share the light, share the spotlight with everybody else.
It is really nice. I mean, like, there's a lot of really good businesses and people around here that you really don't get to see be as good or as successful. Like a lot of other places I go to, I mean, they're good and all, but like, you'd like to see somebody strive. You'd like to see somebody like do good for themselves. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well, that's one thing. Like, I mean, where else can you go where you can have, like, usually you have a certain demographic or different groups of people that, like, you got sports bars, you got the dive bars, you got the grungy bars, but like with a Kava bar, there's just so much you can do with it. I'm really glad that we have a platform where you have people from all different walks, keeping it cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing I love about this podcast is, like, I don't think we've had a boring episode yet.
No,
I feel like
not at all.
whenever it comes to the audio episodes, even still, they're not usually as popular, but like I just like to listen to stuff, like to keep my brain active or whatever, so I don't go to that brain dead space.
I mean, like I was talking about earlier, like you have like all these different podcasts, audiobooks, and what have you. So yeah, definitely nice just listening to something, keeping your mind active.
Yeah. We're gonna get into our last segment here, wrap things up. This is the part of the show we like to call Breaking Barriers. where we break down the barrier between podcast hosts and just members of the community. We don't hold ourselves to any higher standard. One thing I always mention is that like I feel like a lot of podcast people act as if they're these celebrities or whatnot, and they're just normal people like you and I, and they almost hold themselves to such a high standard that's not realistic.
I'm not special at all. Trust me.
Oh,
on
shut
that.
up. Nick is special.
No, bro. I am not special at all. This
You're
man's
special.
More special.
No.
like,
You're
I mean,
special.
If you want to, like,
Hey, you stay out of this,
specifically
Alex.
Special, if you want to say specifically special, I am autistic technically.
Oh,
But
God, we love Nick.
Nonetheless, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so this is called Breaking Barriers. We're really we want you guys to feel like you're part of the family here, part of the community, and for those of you who can't actually physically be here, that might be watching from a different state where Kava and Kratom may not be accessible. I know there's a lot of states that it's not accessible still, but it's where we just open up about our personal lives. I'm gonna skip over the first question just because it's kind of you're not Lauren,
Yeah, I get it. You're good.
But we will talk about two main topics. So, what is your favorite guilty pleasure?
I don't know actually.
Like,
be honest with
if
you.
you could spend money, like let's say you go and you get a scratcher and you win $1,000. What would you spend that $1,000 on? And you can't say
Gaming.
save it. Gaming? Okay. Well,
Gaming,
dang,
like,
I didn't even have to.
wholeheartedly, like PC gaming specifically. I have really actually gone away from console gaming. Funny enough,
Me as well.
there's not much really. I mean, I like the console and what have you, but it's expensive. And a PC, you can buy it. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But you can still.
You have
like,
access
game
to
on
almost
it.
everything.
Almost every single game, yeah.
Yeah.
You have access to like all the games. You can modify it to make it.
However you want it.
Yeah, you can make.
You can do some crazy
modify it
stuff.
to make it, do better and what have you, and like run faster for you and what have you. But yeah, I find that pretty interesting. How about you?
I love gaming. I sold both my consoles just because I never use them. Like, if I want something for Xbox, I just use Game Pass for PC or PS5 or whatnot. But my guilty pleasure, I like to travel. Like, if I had
Yeah.
$1,000, I would probably hit up Pittsburgh and New York. I would probably travel there.
You know where I would go actually?
Where would you
I
go?
gotta either. So, I don't know why, but I've always talked to like my mom and dad about going to North and South Dakota, and Colorado. I love
Really?
mountains.
Oh,
and I
Mount
just,
Rushmore's in South Dakota, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure somewhere around there. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, I love traveling. I love, like, driving, kind of really going anywhere that I want to. I love, like I said, driving's, like, my favorite.
Yeah.
Favorite thing.
Dude, he
I
loves
love-
driving, dude. I have to. I offer him rides to Daytona. He's like, no, I'll just drive on my own.
Yeah.
he,
I'll be
lo-
fine.
he loves
I'll drive
driving.
on my own. Even if it's, like, late night, I will still drive to, like, anywhere. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, yeah, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Colorado, I've heard pretty good things, I want to say, about those states. I want to just go check them out. I've always been into snow as I was a little child, so maybe, like, during a Christmas time one year, I could
Yeah.
go travel up there. But, yeah, that's kind of
Like,
where
I went, I was just telling them, I went to 2 years ago to Pittsburgh the week
Yeah.
of Christmas. It was after Christmas, I think. It was like
Okay.
the week after Christmas, or like the couple days
You
after.
missed the Christmas town.
Well, here's the thing.
Hmm.
Is all big cities have it, but like in PNC Plaza, which is like it's like the Rockefeller. It's like the Rockefeller Center of Pittsburgh, and they have the ice rink with the big old tree. But it was just you don't get the ice skate in Florida. Like, there's the Iceplex in Cocoa, but it's not the same. Like, outdoor, you can't go outdoor ice skating in Florida.
No, yeah, it's like the same thing with snow.
least in
tubing.
Central
it's
Florida.
Not real snow,
Yeah.
and like you go there and you slide down the hill, and it's like sliding down like a wet glass pane, for
Yeah.
example. You're just like sliding over it like infinitively, and you just like it just doesn't feel like real snow.
Yeah, I love the cold. I talk about it almost every episode. It feels like now. I love the cold.
Me
I
too.
do not like the heat. Well, our last topic for the Breaking Barriers segment is going to be now we are in the season of giving thanks, and I'm going to ask the cliche question and obviously preface it with you cannot say friends or family or work, but what is something that you are grateful for from this year? What's something that you've been grateful for?
That's a difficult one because honest to God, most of them are my friends and family, but I can't
Yeah.
say that. I'm going to go back to something that I said earlier, and I'm going to say music. Music was definitely that, helper. It was, got me through a lot, like I said. I listened to a bunch of different stuff, but more or less, I don't know, music just touches my heart in an interesting way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially, there's a lot of memories that come from that, too. There's a song, Earth, Wind, and Fire, September.
Yeah.
My dad plays a lot of, 70s music.
Yeah.
So, he ended up playing that one time, and we were, out at the pool for the first time for my new little nephew's time in the pool. And that was a very special moment for me because it was the first time he ever swam, or the first time I ever saw him swim. So, nonetheless,
We love Corbin.
But that was one of those things that really got me through this year and all the other years and what have you. But yeah,
Sorry, I just ripped ass on camera. I didn't know. He made a
why are you
face.
making this stuff stank? Come on, man.
I saw him make a face, and I thought he could hear it. I thought it was so loud you could hear it on the mic. But if not, I just outed myself.
dog.
Thanks, live. I'm glad we're live. No, I can see that with you there. I'm really grateful for the opportunities I've been given this year. Since last September, a year from last September, I've really buckled down on the things I'm passionate about my music, having this podcast, getting a band together, and I'm really grateful for the people that have helped me along the way. I'm grateful for all the Kava bars that have given me a platform, all the regular bars that have given me a
You
platform.
said no friends and family. Come on, man.
It's not. They're not
you
friends
said
or
the
family.
people along the way. Your friends helped you along the way. No, I'm kidding. I'm messing around. Go ahead.
But it's honestly having these opportunities that I've had for the last year have really been, I would say incremental to my future.
Yeah, you've grown so much from when I first met you.
Yeah.
You're a very an inside person, in kind of your shell person. You knew a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you went up and just talked to a lot of people and started getting to know a lot of people. You went
Yeah.
outside of your comfort zone.
I would say because I had a good group of friends, a good group of 15 people. But now,
When you
even
were
when I
in,
come in here, I try and talk to every single person before I sit down.
Yeah.
And that's at any
"Yo,"
Kava bar.
He said it on one of the other podcast episodes. You'll come and you'll be like, "Yo," and then see if anybody will respond back, and some people will be like, "Yo" back to him, but no, you've grown a lot.
Oh yeah,
You're
I
a lot
appreciate
better.
it.
I'll tell you now, compared to when I first talked to you, you're a lot better person to talk to. you can hold a conversation a lot better than you did.
Getting out there and being more social really has helped. And here's the thing: I've always been social, but I've pretty much rebuilt my group. I'm friendly with everybody and I'm friends with everybody, but close knit friends, there's only a good 10 people that are I'm super close with and that I know I could call at any time. And I'm just again, not just, this isn't even just me being grateful towards everybody, but really I'm just grateful for the opportunities I've been given, and I'm grateful that it doesn't go unnoticed, because it's taken a lot to get this podcast to where it is right now, and I'm just glad that Nocturne has given me such a very big platform. I keep on saying it, but I don't know where I would be with this podcast if it wasn't for Nocturne, because a lot of places I asked about it and they're like, yeah, sure, maybe for an episode or whatever, but not a lot of places would be willing to have me every single week. I know that's a lot, especially considering I do a lot of events here, so it's not them just seeing me one day a week every single week. It's them seeing me 4 days a week every single week. So
most of the time you're just here chilling out and relaxing, but also
Yeah.
at the same time, I mean, generally, if you really think about it, you're doing the same thing up here too. You're sitting down, you're relaxing, you're talking to your friends.
I feel good right now.
and
I am
you're
relaxed.
just like, you're just relaxed. You're just chill. You don't have to really worry about anything. It's your podcast. You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
then,
you've done great things with it. You've had a lot of really good people on here.
yeah.
You've had a lot of really good sponsors on here. I'm very proud of you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for you.
I really appreciate you being out here today, Nick, because Lauren was sick, and Nick really stepped up in the last 2 hours. He's like, "Oh, I'll be there." No questions asked. He just showed up, and I really appreciate that. You know,
Yeah. No problem, brother.
and Alex is here. He's running the audio tonight, so it's really nice to have Alex here helping out. And thank you to everybody here that was participating. Thank you so much, JP and Matt. Seriously, having guests like this is an awesome opportunity. Especially being able to give people a platform to promote themselves. You know, I always talking about synergy and spreading the wealth. So,
Heck yeah.
again, I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsor, Big Dog Kombucha. I'm really glad. It was funny. The first day I went out to Big Dog this past week, I went out there just to check in and say hi or whatnot. And Big Dog wasn't there, but he'd see me on his camera, and he was like, "Hey, Mikey's coming in. Get him a drink." And it's something like that. Going the extra mile, as a business owner, and he really is. He gives back so much, and he's given us so much to let people try here. He gave us all those drinks to sample for the taste test episode we did. He's brought samples here for everybody at the bar to test, so we can try and get them here. We just got to get a kegerator. So, hey, if you guys want to, the best way you can help support the podcast and support this bar is by going on and clicking the links here in our bio, in the description for every episode. Checking out, maybe spend a couple bucks at some of our sponsors, because each one of our sponsors gives back incredibly generously. Honestly, I don't think there's any big name companies that give back as much as Big Dog, Mitra, Tiave does to specifically this podcast, which is in a grand scheme very minuscule to what their reach is, but it can be so much more in the future as long as we keep on allowing it to grow. Every single one of you guys that shoots a like, a comment, a subscribe. Again, I don't even care how many of you guys like, comment, and subscribe, but it's really about how many people are viewing it. Even if you guys just share it, it means the world to me, because there's a lot of people out there that might be struggling with certain things, whether it's with alcohol addiction, drug addiction, and they could find a place like this to come and make their own home and their recovery. I mean, that's all I can ask, is even if one person gets that out of this podcast, I've done my job.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. This has been episode 9 of the Breaking Brews podcast. I'm your host, Michu2.
And I'm your co-host, Nicholas Whitten.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Peace.